Namaste guys, for this session we'll be breaking down a dance sequence which I just recently came up with for my friend for music meditation. So we'll try to break it down and then later we'll flow it or flow dance it together. Yeah, it's quite simple. So let's start with our warm-up for hands. Let's come onto our tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Come into your tabletop, then move forward and back just to warm up the hands and wrists. Make sure you're pressing firmly into the base of the index finger, keeping your spine in neutral. Now let's do some circles, moving to one side, whichever side you prefer. Now let's reverse the circles, the rotation to the other side. Still firmly pressing into the base of your index finger. Now back to the center. Then as you exhale, you draw your abdomen in towards your spine and lean back. Then as you inhale, you arch and lean forward. Exhale, arch, draw your abdomen in and lean back. Inhale, arch and lean forward. Exhale, so it's like a leaning forward and back, downward, cat and cow pose. Warming up your spine. Exhale, round your back, open up the back. Inhale, arch, squeeze your back muscles and draw the chest forward. Inhale. And exhale back to center. Then as you lean forward, you round and draw your abdomen in. And then back to the center, back to neutral spine. Exhale, lean forward. Then inhale, back to neutral, leaning back to the center. Exhale, leaning forward. Inhale, back to center. Exhale. Draw your chest and abdomen in. And back to the center. Now turn your hands, fingers pointing towards your knees. Toes under and slowly lean back and allow your palms to peel off the floor. Moving forward and back, just to stretch your hand flexors. You'll be needing a lot of hand flexion later on. And sit back on your heels and rotate your wrists. Press into the wrist notches just to get the synovial lubricating fluid flowing and releasing some of the tension. Other hand. Now let's continue warming up with some Surya Namaskar A sequence. Let's come onto that format. Stand in the mountain pose. Hands in prayer position as you exhale. Then inhale, raise your arms up. And exhale, coming down. Inhale, coming up halfway, half forward fold. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back into the plank. As you inhale, straighten the plank, and then exhale, lean forward into Chaturanga. You can do the kneeling Chaturanga. Then pressing up into your upward facing dog. Then fold back
into your down dog. Then from here, either step, walk, jump forward to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Then exhale, fold forward fold. Bend your knees, slowly unroll.
Coming back up into your mountain. And then exhale, hands to your chest. Let's do it 2 more times. Inhale, reach your arms up. Arch back if you like. Then exhale, fold forward fold, hands to the floor. Then inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands to the floor. Jump, step back into the plank. Inhale. Then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, pressing up into upward facing dog. And as you exhale, fold back into your down dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Step, jump, or float to the top. Inhale up halfway, then exhale, fold forward fold. Bend your knees, slowly unroll. Coming back into your mountain. Exhale, hands to your chest. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. Folding back down. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, hands to the floor. Jump back or step back. Inhale into the plank. Then exhale, chaturanga. Pressing up as you inhale into your up dog. And then fold back into your downward facing dog. So let's stay in the down dog for a while. You can bend your knees, pedal your feet. Just feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Make sure you're pressing firmly into the roots of your index finger. Feel the stretch. Stretch the sides of your hips as well by moving it sideways a little bit. Also opening up the sides of your torso slightly. Make sure you're not hunching your shoulders towards your ears like too much. You want some engagement in your shoulders, but not like extremely tensing up your shoulders. You want the shoulder blades still hugging towards your rib cage, while at the same time broadening your back and your chest at the same time. Okay, now back to the center. Come to a steady downward facing dog. And then from here we'll start flowing the whole sequence. So later you will see that it's a little bit unusual flow. You'll find out later why. So from here, raise your right leg up into three-legged down dog. Raise your left heel, come onto your left toes. Draw your right knee in. Try to step it in and forward towards your right thumb. Slowly coming up into our high lunge or modified warrior one. Make sure your hips are square to the front and keep your right knee directly above your right ankle and keep your spine lengthening. Shoulders down away from the ears, chest open, and draw your lower ribs in. You can arch up and back if you like. And exhale, bring your hands to your chest in prayer position. And then from here, transition into warrior two. Just lower the left heel to the floor, heels to heel aligned. And then extend your arms in the same plane as your shoulders and hips. Lift up from the sternum and turn your head to the same direction as your right knee. Just hold this pose for a while. Let's focus on your breath. Make sure you're not rotating your hips forward. Try to keep your spine lengthening, drawing your lower ribs in. Then from here, turn your right palm up, and then reverse exultant warrior. Keep your right knee bent, reaching up and back, doing a slight back arch at the same time while you're doing the side bend. And then from here, we'll transition to Skandasana, bending the left leg. So from here, straighten the right leg, bend into the left knee. Cross your arms if you want. You can come down as low as you like, or if this is difficult, you can simply come down as just midway. Okay? Or you can keep the right foot on the floor as well. And make sure the left knee is pointing outward, not forward. Yeah? It's pointing outward. And the foot as well. Then coming down. If this is difficult, you can simply lift your heels up and come onto your left toes. And just place your hands on the floor. So let's just hold this for a few breaths so that you're comfortable and you feel the stretch in your right leg. And also opening your inner thighs. You can place your hands on your chest or just on the floor. Let's do a twist. Left hand on the floor and pressing against the left knee. Then open up, reaching your right arm up. So from here we'll transition to a revolved side angle pose. From here, just reach your right hand forward, left hand extended, and then scoot forward, reaching. If this is difficult, you can simply come up first, and then reach forward, left hand to the floor, and revolve side angle. Make sure your left heel is pointing straight up, and your left hand is underneath your left shoulder, and your spine is straight and lengthening. Try to hold this. If you want to hold this without placing weight on your hands, you slowly shift your weight onto your legs or your feet. And your left fingers can be on the floor for support. Then from here, lower your left knee to the floor, and at the same time, tilt to the side and step your right foot to the back end of the mat and come into your easy supported side plank. Let's just hold this. So we are not placing all our weight on our left knee. We are still placing most of the weight on our left hand. So hold the pose. Make sure you're keeping your spine straight and not arching. Keep the lower ribs drawn in. And then from here, let's come into our child's pose. Bring your toes under. And from here, come up into your downward facing dog. Just catch your breath for a while. And from here, we'll come into our wild thing, or the rock star, or also known as the flip dog. From here, raise your left leg up. Come up high on your right toes. Open your hips, bend your left knee. And from here, slowly step your left foot down. And then sit with your right hips and legs. And open your left arm against your left knee. Try to keep your spine straight, not hunching. Just open, shoulders down. Let's hold this for a while, maybe for 2 breaths, before we get into the actual wild thing. So as you exhale, relax, and then inhale, sweep your left hand forward, lifting your hips up, and then
turning up towards the sky, trying to lift your hips as high as you can towards the ceiling and supported with your left toes. And reach your left arm up and back and pressing firmly into your right hand, not collapsing into your right shoulder. Just hold the pose, focus on relaxing into the pose. And from here, sitting back down into the prep pose, like the half staff pose, I would call it. And from here, let's come back into our downward facing dog. Three-legged down dog and left foot down. Let's do a vinyasa. Lean forward into plank. So you inhale, then exhale, coming down into chaturanga. Then pressing up into your upward facing dog. You can always do the kneeling or the cobra, and then fold back into your downward facing dog. So we are now done with the first half of the flow. So we will now complete the flow. Normally you would do the other side starting from the same way from the beginning. But as I mentioned earlier, this quite unusual flow, and we will reverse the flow. We will be starting doing the same thing on the other side, but beginning from the end and ending from the beginning, if that makes sense. So anyway, we'll learn it and then later we'll flow it completely on the other side. Okay? So from here, raise your right leg up, high on your left toes, bend your right knee, open your hips, and then slowly lower and sit on your left buttocks and open your right arm against your right knee, opening up your chest a little bit so there's a light twist in this pose. Make sure you're not collapsing into your left shoulder, just keep your spine up and straight. So your right buttocks will be lifting, or actually if you want you can also keep your left buttocks lifting. Or you can just simply sit down and rest. And then from here, let's go into our wild thing. Sweep your right hand to the left, and then lifting your hips and up. And hold the rock star. It's called the rock star because it's like a guitarist strumming the guitar and coming into this awkward pose. And from here, back to the sitting position. Just rest your left arm, but still keep it grounded on the floor. And then place your right hand on the floor, back into your three-legged down dog, and foot down. Come into your child's pose. So we are reversing the flow from here. And from here, come onto your right knee, facing to the left, and then straightening your left leg, and keep your left arm up into the supported side plank. Let's just hold this pose for a while. Make sure you are keeping a straight line from your left foot to your hips, and keeping your spine straight and lengthening, not arching back. Keep your lower ribs drawn in. It's also a good way to work on strengthening your arms, your elbows, by doing a micro bend. And from here we'll transition back into revolved side angle. So as you exhale, you step your left leg to the front and your right toes under, lift up and sweep your left arm up into your revolved side angle pose. Again, if you like to hold this, you balance on your feet instead.
Then from here, we'll transition back to Skandasana, but on the other side with the right leg bent. So what I like to do to make it more dramatic and the movement like more fun, for me at least, is to sweep the left hand forward and follow it with my gaze, and then like transitioning to the right leg, making sure my right foot is turning outward, not inward. Otherwise, I will be jamming my knee. And then my knee will be bending in the same direction. And extend. So let's hold this pose like the other side. You can keep your hands in prayer position, or right hand on the floor, press against your right leg, and twist, open up to the left side. If this is difficult, you can place your hands on the floor and just hold it like this way. Just make sure you're keeping your back straight, not hunching or rounding your back. Or you can come onto your right toes, lifting the right heel. Yeah, balancing like this if you have tight Achilles heels and not so open in your ankles. So from here we'll transition back into the exultant warrior. So I like to play some hands, like dramatic hand movements, just to make the dance, the flow later more, nicer so to look at. Okay, so from here I'll draw my hands in, and then coming up, circle my right arm up and back, following with my left arm, and then coming into my exultant warrior. And at the same time, I move my right heel, turning my right foot in. So holding the exultant warrior. Make sure you're not arching your back. Keep your hips in neutral as much as possible. And from here, straighten your torso, hands to the center, and exhale into warrior 2. Make sure your arms are in the same plane as your shoulders, which are aligned directly above your hips, not to the long side of the mat, so you won't be twisting. Let's just hold this for a few breaths. It's like a resting pose to catch our breath. If you had some quite strenuous workout in the Skandasana or the wild thing. And slowly raise your right heel up, square your hips to the front, hands in prayer, and inhaling up into warrior 1, or high lunge rather. Arch back if you like, and exhale, hands down. Step your left foot up and back, three-legged down dog, and back to the floor. Let's do one vinyasa. Inhale into plank, then as you exhale, lean forward, chaturanga, and then pressing up into your upward facing dog, and fold back into your down dog. So we just flowed the whole sequence on both sides. So from here, lift your heels, bend your knees, and we'll come to the front of our mat, jump, step, or float to the front into halfway up, folding down, then inhale back into the mountain. So now we will flow the whole dance sequence together continuously, not holding the poses, just one pose after the other, and moving gracefully as much as possible. Okay, so stand in your mountain pose, and then we'll begin the whole flow. I will not be giving instructions so much. I will just mention the pose. Okay, hands in prayer position, and then we'll begin. Inhale, raise your arms up and back. Swan diving down into full forward fold. Inhale into half forward fold. Exhale, plant your hands, step, jump, or float back into
downward facing dog. And slowly lift your heels, come into the plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and fold back into your down dog. Raise the right leg up, high on your left heel, draw your right knee in, step forward, coming up into your warrior one, arch up and back, hands to the chest in prayer. Now transition to your warrior two, exultant warrior, then down to Skandasana. Left leg bend, extend the right arm and reach forward. Left hand down into revolved side angle. Left knee down, turn the left lower leg out, straighten the right leg into side plank. Come into your child's pose. Toes under. Come up into down dog. And then raise the left leg up. High on your right toes. Bend the left knee. Coming into your prep for the wild thing. Then inhale up to the wild thing. Back down. Three-legged down dog. Left foot down. Let's do a vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog, right leg up, left toes up, bend the right knee. Prep for the wild thing. Inhaling up into rock star. Back down. Right hand down, three-legged down dog, child's pose. Come into your side plank, right knee on the floor, straighten the left leg. Then we'll go into revolved side angle, step the left foot forward, right toes down, swing the left arm. And then Skandasana, sweep the left arm forward and back. Extend the arms. And then we'll this exultant warrior. Warrior two. Warrior one, prayer. Hands down. Three-legged down dog. And foot down. Quick vinyasa. Upward dog. And fold back. Down dog. Raise the heels, bend the knees. Step to the front. Half, then forward fold. And coming back up. So that's the one sequence. Now let's repeat one more time, moving with the music. Inhale, raise your arms up. Down. Let's just flow this together with not so many words.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhakta Vrindam. Raj Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Vaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasati Gaur Bhakta Vrindam.
Slowly back up, hands in prayer, back to your chest. So that's the entire flow. And let's start cooling down. I hope you had fun. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, coming back down. Inhaling up. And exhale. Step back into plank. Then fold back into your down dog. Let's just cool down. Three-legged down dog, right leg up and forward. Come into our pigeon. Bring your right knee near the right hand, angling your lower leg, left foot in front of the left hip. Make sure your hips are squared and you're not sinking into the right hip or buttocks. Keep the hips squared, hands to the floor to keep your body upright, and come into our sleeping pigeon. Reach your arms forward. You can rest your forehead on your hands. Just relax into your stretching your hips, slowing down your heart rate. Just relaxing. Coming back up, hands underneath the shoulders, left toes under. Three-legged down dog. And right foot down. Let's raise the left leg up. And swing it forward into our pigeon. And then sleeping pigeon. Just rest. And just feel the stretch. Don't fight the stretch. Make sure your hips are squared and you're not collapsing or sinking into the left buttocks. Just feel your hips opening. If you need, you can use a block underneath your left buttocks. Coming back up. Hands underneath the shoulders. Right toes under. Three-legged down dog. And feet to the floor. Downward facing dog. Come into your sitting, cross legs. Scoot forward, sitting in the center of your mat. Sitting in your staff pose. Let's just do a not so intense seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, raise your arms up, lengthen the spine, and slowly lean forward with your back straight as much as possible, tilting your hips forward. And slowly allow your spine to curve and stretch, reaching forward. Try not to reach forward too much. Just some light forward fold, just to relax our body, our mind, to open up the back. Just make sure you're not forcing it. Slowly release and lower your torso to the floor. Bend your knees, feet to the floor. Straighten the left leg, arms to the sides. Lift your hips, shift your hips to the right side, lower the left buttocks to the center line of your mat. Right foot over your left knee, and then bring your right knee to the left side, to the floor. Keep your right shoulder touching the floor at the back. And just twist, relax your entire body. Relax your back and your hips. And just feel the twist and the stretch. Just some light twisting. Just to release any tension. Now back to the center. Left foot back down. Shift your hips to the left, straighten the right leg. Lower the right buttocks to the center line. And lower your left knee, left leg to the right side. Keep your left shoulder touching the floor. Just keep your head facing up towards the ceiling or the sky. And just relax into the twist. Release, back to the center, feet to the floor. Center your hips on the mat. Apanasana, hug your knees to your chest. Nose to your knees. And release, coming into your Savasana. And just rest here as long as you like. Just do your breathing. Focus on your breath and rest and relax. Release all the tension in your body. Do your Ujjayi breathing with your complete yoga breath. And just rest. Thank you for practicing with me the dance flow. You will practice this on your own. And maybe improve on it or come up with your own flow. See you next time.